Hello, it's Ryan from 2minutetennis.net, and in this video, I'm going to help one of my subscribers, Glenn, improve his forehand. Now, Glenn, first, thank you so much for sending me a video of your forehand. I'm going to let your forehand run a couple times here, just so that the viewers get a sense of your level of play and how you hit the ball, and then we're going to diagram it. Now, Glenn, one of those forehands, you were really close to the ball, and then the very next forehand, you were too far away from it. So I'm going to take the forehand where it's right in the middle, where you're a good distance away from the ball. Now, the overall sense here when I'm watching you hit the ball, Glenn, is that you have a very stiff wrist and a very almost immobile hand as you're hitting the ball. And it creates a bit of a blocking movement with your racket where you're kind of pushing the ball over the net. You had mentioned in your email that oftentimes you hit the ball long or you pull the ball left. And so I want to help you with these ideas, and so that you can hit with more topspin, you can be more aggressive, and you're not afraid that the ball's going to go left and the ball's going to go out. So the first thing I want to do here is I've got you side by side with Diego Schwartzman, and I just want to show you this position right here. And Diego's left hand and his left arm. Now, it's a little hidden behind his right arm, but we get the sense of where it is here. His left arm is really extended out and his hand is up. When you turn on your forehand, your left hand, your non-hitting hand, is very much down and across. And one of the benefits of having the left arm out, one, a lot of students say they like it for spacing, that they kind of feel like they have a sense of where the ball is going to be and how to actually set up for the ball when the left hand is out. To be honest, that is actually not something that has ever occurred to me when I have my left arm out, but I've had students who say it, so I want to pass that along to you. But the next thing is having that left arm out there and being able to move it to the left as a way of really uncoiling the body can give a tremendous amount of racket speed. Your left arm does very little to help you unwind, coiling, winding up, and then unwinding and uncoiling. So the first thing I want you to do, and you see, Dimitrov do this, and I love how his left arm sticks way off to the right, and what I mean by that is like this. His left arm is way off to the right. I'm going to show you Dominic Thiem doing the same thing. I want you to really straighten out your left arm so it's basically parallel to the net. That will be used as a great way of uncoiling, and you're really getting leverage to be able to turn and be able to bring the racket through contact. The next thing, and all this, Glenn, I'm going to demonstrate in front of the camera here in a second. The next idea is the concept of taking the racket from below your hand to above your hand. So let me show you what I mean by this. So I'm not a fan, Glenn, of when people talk about the windshield wiper like this. I'm not a fan of that because I just don't think it helps recreational players in your situation hit better forehands. Sure, they can do it, but does it really help them hit better forehands? Because they're so focused on what they're doing after the ball. What I actually want you to do is focus on, you could call it almost like a sideways windshield wiper motion where the racket is going to go like this. So watch Diego do this. Watch his racket follow this line. So if we just look at it, his racket here is below his hand, Glenn, and now his racket is above his hand. So below and above. You get very little topspin on your forehand because you really push through the ball. And I'm going to show you here in a second on the Topspin Pro how I actually want you to have the feeling like you're going to take the top edge of the racket and hit the bottom of the ball, like you're trying to hit the south pole of the earth, right? You're trying to hit the south pole of the ball with the top edge of the racket. That is what is going to produce a tremendous amount of topspin on the ball so that when the ball, even if it goes a little high over the net, the ball dips down well in front of the baseline so it doesn't go long. You can see on this forehand, you push very much through the ball, and we just take this ball out to its end. You can see the ball lands long because you have very little spin on that ball. So what I want you to work on is being very loose. It's going to take a relaxed hand, a loose hand, just being loosey-goosey in order to create this racket speed. I really want you to focus on taking the racket from below your hand to above your hand. And this is what you see the pros do. Their racket goes from below their hand to above their hand. And while doing that, It's almost like you're trying to hit the bottom of the ball with the top edge of the racket. I'll show you what I mean with that in a second. The next thing I want to show you is Diego's left hand. Now, this is a really important concept because when you hit the ball, and actually the forehand that was really too close to you, you can see how low your left hand is. It's really important that your left hand is around head level when you are striking the ball, that you want that left hand visible like over your left shoulder when you're contacting, because what I actually want you to do to really keep you from doing that windshield wiper where you come back down and kind of wrap it around your left pocket, what I want you to do when you make this windshield wiper the way I'm asking you to, it's a sideways windshield wiper, I want you to finish high. If you look at Nadal, his racket finishes way up above his head, and he does that. Sorry, a little technical glitch there. Nadal does that idea of below the hand to above the hand, but then he finishes oftentimes way above his head. So let me actually show you Dominic Thiem to help illustrate this better. So right off the bat here, we can see the left arm. His left arm is way over. That's what I just love about the pros, is they reach off to their right with their left arm, creating this coiling effect. We can see his shoulders are turned more than his hips. And then when he coils, that left arm being extended, it's going to give him a ton of leverage to really uncoil, almost like a discus thrower, to be able to turn the hips and be able to hit effective forehands. So you can just see that your left arm is just never reaching out to your left. I'm sorry, your left arm is never reaching out to your right. The next idea, racket from below the hand to above the hand. And we can see this quite easily. Below the hand to above the hand, where you just really push through contact. Now, I was talking about the left hand with Diego Schwartzman. We can actually see his left hand peeking up over the left shoulder. And as he's hitting this ball, he actually catches the racket. We can see the strings facing directly off to the left, butt cap of the racket's pointing right over the net. Because you're so afraid to swing fast, or otherwise the ball's going to go out or left, you end up not having as long a follow through. So I want you to complete the follow through all the way over the shoulder, catching the racket with the left hand. And again, just like, I was going to call him Diego, Dominic Thiem, having the strings facing off to the left with the butt cap pointing forward over the net. All right, let me show you what this looks like on the Topspin Pro. Now, to help me demonstrate all of this, I've got the Topspin Pro here. You know what to do. Check out my affiliate link in the description below. I'll even pin it in the first comment. It would mean the world to me if you got the Topspin Pro using my affiliate link for at-home practice. So thank you so much. All right, Glenn, first thing, the left arm. Get the left arm out. Get that arm to help you understand the spacing between you and the ball, but also to coil so that we can uncoil and move this arm. You're going to get like a discus thrower with the arms out rather than the arms in. You're going to get a lot more leverage and a lot more racket speed. So watch the pros. They always stretch this arm way out, and it really helps you have a big time forehand. The next idea, Glenn, is the racket going from below your hand to above your hand. So watch. When you were hitting very flat into the back of the ball. And that's why you feel like the ball ends up going long a lot. What we want is for the racket to go from below your hand to above your hand and make this move. I'm not a fan of the windshield wiper idea like this, but I don't mind when students understand the concept of racket below and racket above. When your racket goes from below your hand to above your hand, the amount of spin that you can put on the ball is tremendous, especially when you think of hitting the bottom of the ball. Let me grab a ball off camera here. There's the concept of the ball's coming in, and right now you're doing this. You're hitting very flat into the back. While you're doing the racket below your hand to racket above your hand concept, what I want you to have the feeling of is that you're actually intending on hitting the bottom of the ball with the top edge of your racket. When players try to hit the bottom of the ball with the top edge of their racket, what they end up doing is missing the top edge, and then they spin up the back. For players in your situation who hit very flat against the back of the ball, this is a game changer for changing your mindset to be able to help you to accomplish the ball striking that you want. We don't want this. We don't want direct, racket to ball contact. The ball just tends to shoot. long. We need spin on that ball. It stabilizes the ball. It means that we can control it even when it leaves our racket. We want that feeling, almost like a bowler, and they can curve the ball. Even though the ball's out of their hand, they feel like they're still controlling it. Unlike myself, I throw it down the middle and I cross my fingers. But the idea is we want to have the feeling like we're going to hit the bottom of the ball, and then we don't. We will spin up the back of it. And the amount of spin and control, the ball goes up over the net and dips down into the court. And Glenn, you're going to feel like you can't miss. Like, it's an amazing feeling once that starts to happen. So we're super loose. Our left arm's way out. We're moving our racket from below the hand to above the hand. I want you to notice at contact where my left hand is. Now, on that forehand, you were really close. Your left hand was down here. Sometimes your left hand was over here. I want your left hand up. This is kind of what I call wave to your opponent. When you're hitting the ball, wave to your opponent. And when you're waving to your opponent at contact, it promotes you swinging up. See, our racket tends to go toward our left hand. So if our left hand's here, we tend to swing across. And when you swing across, you can see the ball doesn't really spin. So when the left hand is up, it promotes your racket going to your left hand. Just anatomically, our hands tend to go toward each other. So get your left hand up, and it will encourage you to have an upward swing as you're hitting the ball. I mean, just look at Nadal. He finishes up above his head, I would have to say, more than 60% of the time, and he's got more spin than anyone. And then last is because you block the ball, Glenn, you kind of stop right here. I want you to be loose enough and fast enough in your swing that you go all the way to a complete finish, where we saw with Dominic Thiem, the butt cap was pointing over the net, strings were facing off to the left, and he caught the racket quite high. So let me show you from the front what all this will look like. So I'm nice and loose, I split step, left arm is way out, I drop down below the ball, I'm moving my left hand out of the way and I'm raising it. My racket's below my hand, and now my racket's above my hand, and then I catch the racket high over my shoulder. Left arm's out, drop, and I make that move. Again, the racket goes from below to above. You're going to get a tremendous amount of topspin. Glenn, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for sending me that email. And I read it this morning and I looked at your video and I said, absolutely, I'm going to help this guy out. Because the mistakes that you're making, the inefficiencies in your stroke, so many of the viewers are going to be able to benefit from it. So Glenn, please try these ideas out. Send me a video in a month or so after you've worked on this, and we'll even do a side-by-side comparison. But work on these ideas, and there is absolutely no doubt you're going to gain confidence, win more matches, and play much better tennis. This is Ryan Reedy from 2minutetennis.net. Glenn, you got this.